Hi, this is BZ Rieger. I'm doing a rambling by the creek, heading out to the river, Brooks Creek. It's March 4th, 2020, and it's a spring day. It may hail on our head while we're rambling, but there you go. I had a couple people have conversations with me about the last rambling that I did, and the line I took away that was a common thread with the different conversations was, could I voice that in a more linearized way? So as I was playing with that, I was nudged to do a rambling that's depending on where your focus is. It's either a linearizing of your multidimensionality, your fully quantum state, or in a conscious way, or consciously standing in your multidimensionality and the full scope of that, and consciously linearizing it. And on all levels. So something that's strictly within you, maybe just your inner vision, your inner landscape, your own guides, your own team, higher self, however you refer, angels, all that, however you refer to that, connect with that. Then your own personal world, the different connections within that, different spheres in which you have coherence with that, your job, the broader connectivity of people you communicate with, friends, relatives, whatever that is, and then moving out, system, structure, society, all that kind of thing. And it's kind of funny because it seems like when I enumerated those that they're distinct and they're separate and they're, this is one thing and that's something else, and there really isn't a connection. And that's one of the cool things in doing this, in stepping into your multidimensionality and, we'll say, linearizing, consciously linearizing all those aspects, makes you realize that they are not only connected, they're intertwined and they're integral to each other. Because they make up your reality. They make up your universe. They make up the warp and weave of the fabric of your whole existence and reality. Because you create that. Because you create, dictate, script, orchestrate, colorize, theme, and set the costumes and all that for that. Because you've chosen to do different things, experience different things, hold different expansion levels. There's lots of ways to say that. And so you've created all that to unfold. And when you realize that, then you can start to use this, I guess it's a tool, consciously to help you decode and navigate things. So for one example, that some people are focusing a lot on, and some not focusing all that much on, and some just paying a little bit, of kind of connect the dots attention to, is the beer virus. and what's actually going on, and how that connected, and is it connected? And so if you consciously look at a piece of data that you're examining, excuse me, it could be something that you've read, a tweet or a text, or maybe there's a video or an audio or something. And as you look at the parts of that, as you engage with however that's coming through, whatever form of media that's coming through, and it can be someone right next to you that's talking, or on the phone talking, however it is, Zoom or Skype or whatever. Stand from a multidimensional place, or another way to say it is actually stand in your multidimensionality, because that's where you are. You're always in that place. It's just cognizing, recognizing that you're doing that. And then consciously pull that multidimensionality down into a linearized way, a linearized focus, for, just as an example, that one piece of data, that one tweet. And then you realize that it isn't just, characters on a screen, or black ink on paper, or an audio file that you're listening to, or a video, or someone right in physical juxtaposition talking to you. But there's a multidimensional components to it, on wavelengths and frequency, on meaning, color, texture, resonance, all of that. So it isn't in isolation. It isn't just one thing. It isn't just a static piece of data, and that which makes up that piece of data is not static. It is, connected. It weaves out to all of that. And when you do that, just so take a tweet, for example, when you do that, it not only will help you see that it gives it context, how it relates to other things, it actually is, because you're consciously pulling the multidimensionality into linearizing that, or that linearized component of it, you see the correlation, you see the relationship, you see the frequencies play with, intermingle, and come into coherence with other parts of data. Just like, you could look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, you're just a person right there, and there's a mirror, and it's three-dimensional and all that. But if you're hanging out rambling by the river with me, you hold that in a much different way. You hold that you're multidimensional. You hold that you don't just, not just born, live for a bit, and then die in your womb food. You're much beyond that. And someone standing next to you may hold a totally different thing, and so what unfolds in that looking in the mirror may be very different for one than the other, the perceivedness of it, because they're not using their contextual, linearized consciousness on the fact that they're multidimensional. So when you look at the parts of the coronavirus and what's going on and what's being said, you may look at a particular reference, a particular point of data, say a text, and you might have, because you're looking at it in a multidimensional sense, you're looking at, and I mean looking from all of your sensory array, how does the frequency of that, the actual, this is a text, the actual characters in the tweet, how does that relate? And you may then find questions or just kind of ponderings come up for you as, well, why was this word and this word in that tweet? And why were they something that seemingly looks to be saying the same thing, using different words, but meaning different things, because you can feel the frequency of it. Or you might look at a video that someone's doing, again, on the same kind of data point, and you might think, well, why is this having a different frequency now than they have before in their other things? Why is one seemingly much more constricted now on this data point around the coronavirus, as opposed to what it was in other things that were also fantastical, that were also more expansive and out there. So there's a juxtaposition, there's a definite frequency neighborhood that the being is hanging out from, coming with. So look at those kinds of things, and look at, when there's a heightened sense of drama or urgency, or beating the drum of something, however the drum is being beaten. Again, look at it consciously from and expose it to the full multidimensional array that you have, and look at it that way, or take, depending on how you normally come from, and take your multidimensionality and consciously linearize that into that particular data point. And what you'll find is it reveals a tremendous amount of more data and more information, and it's almost as if it gives it frequency wheels, color wheels that let you see where the relationship is, let you see what frequency neighborhood camps the different orchestrators of that piece of data point are in, and it gives you more of the story than just the audio on the clip, or the video, or the text in the tweet, or whatever it is that you're looking for. And you can do that, obviously not just with the coronavirus. That's just a good one, because it's there's great polarization around it, and there's a great dichotomy within data points coming forward, and within the same being given data points coming forward, particularly for that, as opposed to what had come before, or might be going in other data points that they're relaying. And as you start to play with this, you'll see that all around. And so that in itself, you encountering it that way, again, whether it's this focus of the coronavirus or anything else, will give you more information, will because you're the expert for you. So it will help you pinpoint how you're reading the energies of all that. It will help you correlate and coalesce all of that information into what your knowing is, what your role that you've created, what script that you're unveiling and rolling out. And you can do the same thing I just talked about for something that's going on within you. Is there an expansion? Is there a superpower that you want to bring online? Is there something that you want to have integration on? You can do the same kind of thing, because usually we get in this mode of a thinking mode, and perhaps a solving mode, or a get rid of mode, or push that down mode, or run away from mode, or whatever it is, and that's all very linearized. And which is okay, if you can add in your multidimensionality to that, and consciously inject that into your linearized thought of the process of the working with whatever it is that you're working on, it's like the sun got turned on, and the colors flowed in, and you see the depth and the breadth and the correlation and the connection, and it illuminates things for you as you're right in it, whatever it is that you're focusing on, and it helps you to look at it from bilocational consciousness, multi-locational consciousness, because you can realize that you're not the whatever it is you're wrestling, right? You have a piece in that. You've wanted to go through that for your own soul expansion. But it gives you many more data points, gives you many more context within that. And just to kind of finish up this rambling, I would say that this is something you may find very helpful to play with, because this which may be, if you're thinking a linear, convoluted way, kind of different than we've ever done before way, yes, is expanding and rapidly, exponentially increasing more and more and more every moment as you go through time now. It's not, by week or month or whatever. It's exponentially increasing and speeding up, and the intensity is speeding up in each moment. So if this is a moment, and this is a moment, and this is a moment, those exponential jumps, right, are speeding through. And so as you develop, for you, because you're the expert, for you, as you develop ways to play with that, to pull tools, modified tools, or your own tools, and your own way of flowing with that, you're going to see that the perceived chaos dissipates. The perceived angst or worry or not quite knowing where to make a decision or what decision to make or how to focus on this or whatever it is, that all of that muddiness, perceived muddiness, will settle, and you can then see the flow clearly. So like the river has settled and there's not murkiness in it, you can see the currents, you can see the eddies, you can see where energy is pooling, you can see where it's then rushing and streaming. You can move through all of that and really be the navigator, the running your ship, and having a ball doing it. Yeah, some can be, whitewater rafting, and some can be smooth, and some can be just hanging out in a little cove with the sun basking on your face. All of those things. But when you step into that, it changes everything. And because you're a transmitter, because you're a kick-ass creator being, you actually change all of the all as you do that. You make those tools, you make that expansion, you make those new resonant fields, those new templates, those new energetic decoder circles available for all of those and sources multiples. So play with it, enjoy it, and sail the ship, the most amazing ship that there is, which is you. I love you.